going to be short, however. She gets her own rebound, and this will be it. 1 second. That's the buzzer. And so Coach Bob Becker and the Morton Lady Potters build another state championship, number 4 in the last 5 years. The trophy is coming back to Morton, and the celebration, the team mobs each other. Coach Becker hugging the assistants, the student section behind them going crazy. An awesome scene here at Redbird Arena.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this week's MPTV Coaches Show. We're back from spring break. Brian Dieters did come back from spring break, but he's not here this week, so Bob Hornsby is with me, and we're going to talk about news in the Morton community that actually broke over spring break, and we're talking about, you might get a clue from what's behind us here, but girls basketball, big news. Coach Bob Becker is retiring after 26 years leading the Morton Lady Potters.
Yeah, which is honestly just amazing. I think that probably, his name is synonymous with girls basketball, not only in our town, but I mean there are places all across our state that might not know much about pumpkins and might not know much about really anything else, but they know about Morton girls basketball. So pretty amazing legacy, really.
Yeah, and you said, we were talking before we started the show, right? 26 years is the same amount of time that you've been doing the drum line as part of the marching band.
Yep.
And just, I mean, like, you know, the number exists on its own, but it's somebody that's done something for that period of time. You can just kind of talk to how much commitment that.
Oh, sure. I mean, for Bob, it's been his life since 1999. I think we were saying was his first year, and when you really get into this thing and you're able to build a program like he has, it starts touching every aspect of your life, and we've been able to, teach Bob's kids and see Bob's kids, his own children, rotate through the program and, still be involved and what it's meant to his family, and it becomes, you're doing it for the school, you're doing it for your students, but you're also doing it for your own kids if you're lucky enough to be able to have them there, and you're trying to build something that is there for them, and then getting to experience it with them together is a unique thing. And you really only get that with someone like Bob that's been able to go and build this program into a respected powerhouse, several state appearances, state championships, great players coming through, just a standard of excellence. It's really admirable.
Yeah, we really, just obviously huge congratulations to him on all the success, and hopefully a good chance maybe to talk to him before the end of the year and kind of let him reflect on his journey. He's been besieged by media more important than us since that retirement announcement, but
or maybe he's just waiting for us.
That's true.
We're the penultimate, the final interview.
There we go. We're going to go with that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But tremendous congrats to Coach Becker, and
absolutely,
I look forward to him enjoying that retirement, because like you said, it becomes your life, and we all get consumed with the things we do, but hopefully him and his wife Evelyn can enjoy retirement as well.
Certainly.
So let's talk a little bit more. Spring's a busy time. Obviously we had a lot of sports going on, some spring break stuff. Softball was down in Tennessee.
And baseball was in Memphis.
Yeah, we were down in Memphis.
Yeah, so how did that go for you guys?
Yeah, that went really well. We had a good run down there. We were kind of up and down in terms of results. Basically, we were 500 when we were down there in terms of wins and losses. But it was a good time. And with it having been a good time, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a little feature we put together with some of the highlights of the trip.
Baseball took a trip to Memphis, and we've got a few highlights here. This is Cal Boker at the plate, and what you're going to see here is an inside the park home run. There's the pitch, and you're going to see Cal motor around the bases here. And my favorite part of this, though, is the excitement from the Potters bench when they start to realize that Cal has a chance at the inside park home run. Look at Sammy Hare and Cam Crawford getting excited, and here comes the rest of the bench. And Cal slides inside the park home run. This is a more traditional home run celebration here after the ball cleared the fence for Hudson Lovell, and you see the excitement there for the group as well. Potter's first win of the trip was with Ryan Schaffnet on the mound, and this is Schaffnet pitching here, and he was dominant in his outing. ended up actually winning a 1-0 game. Brandon Sieben also had a home run on the trip. Here's Colin Burns with a RBI against Grissom High School from Georgia. Potters lost this game, very competitive ball game against a top-rated team from the state of Georgia. This is back to game 1 here. This is Lovell with a double that set up what was ultimately the winning run in that 1-0 Potters win. And then a couple quick other pictures from the trip. This is the Morton fan base, kind of impressive that Potters had a ton of fans, and this is our sophomore team with the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas.
All right, we are back. There's baseball highlights there. Let's talk another group that is always, I mean, I see them just kind of driving around town all the time.
They're everywhere.
But it's our
you got to drive more carefully.
That's a good point. It's our track and field kids. And I mean, they've had two recent meets at U of I, which have gone really well.
Sure.
And I just feel like you see the payoff. We say they're out there all the time, but they are. You see the payoff of the hard work they're putting in.
Certainly. And I mean, I think it's really kind of neat because I think one thing that we see with track and field season is you see these kids in the fall, right? And they've kind of you kind of like okay, this kid's a football kid, this kid's a band kid, this kid is this or that, and then you see this interesting conglomerate of all of them in the spring, going out and doing track, and I think that's really neat. I think that there's so many different things that you can do, and obviously, so many kids that are intent on staying in shape, during the spring for whatever else. But good for them.
Yeah,
very nice.
Absolutely. And then I want to mention another group that a little bit maybe now closer to your heart because we've got the lacrosse co-op.
Oh, yeah.
And I know your daughter Ella is playing. Yeah. So I mean, I'll be honest. Sometimes the co-ops are a little harder to get info on. So appreciate you here. But
sure,
just kind of talk a little bit about what we're seeing there.
Yeah, I mean, Ella decided to give a crack at lacrosse. She'd never played it before, and I think at first that was readily apparent to her and all the people around her. But to her credit, she was out back with a rebounder, getting work done, and has started to really enjoy it. And they've got, I think, what's challenging for them, and maybe this is just lacrosse in general, is that at a given school, maybe you really only have 2 or 3 players that are really, really good, right? And just because other travel sports, softball, soccer, just even dance, whatever, kids are starting playing this at 3, 4, 5 years old, and so by the time that they get to high school, you've got a real big stable full of people that know how to play. Lacrosse is still limited, kind of a little bit where we are anyway regionally. So I give credit to the coaches a ton that they're able to field. They've got a JV team and a varsity team that they've been able to field, and games are just kind of starting now. And she had her first game yesterday, but I was calling the soccer game at the field.
We're going to talk about that in just a second too.
So I didn't get to see it, but she scored a goal.
Well, there you go.
I was like, good for you, kid. I'll be able to see her play a couple times next week. But she's really enjoyed it, and never really been part of a co-op before, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it.
And I think that's a cool part of it too, is getting a chance to meet kids. We talked with Landon Berkey, one of our swimmers, about the swimming co-op right before on our show before spring break, and so that's kind of cool. But since you've obviously seen girls soccer a couple times, we hopefully get Coach DeLong on in the next couple of weeks. But give us a rundown so far in girls soccer this year.
I mean, I think that they've started the season off really, really well. I think we've got a lot of good experience kind of on the varsity team, some really good seniors, and a really kind of well balanced team. The season started out with very much of a whirlwind, some very several hard opponents, and a couple games basically where maybe they lost by a goal or whatever. But if you were there watching the game, you understood that either Morton was pretty much dominating possession and something kind of unlucky broke, or in the case of the game against Notre Dame, that was a game that I felt was very evenly matched. Ended up being just a 1-0 game, and that's how soccer is, right? When a soccer match can be pretty evil. You can sit and play really well the whole time, and then depending on the wind blowing and just somebody getting a shot off, then there you go. But no, I think I've been really encouraged. I think they're in for a really good season. Awesome. The JV team also has had a good start, and has won all their matches and are doing a good job. They're actually, no, I think they drew against Notre Dame. Yeah, it's getting started. Like to get some warmer weather.
Yes, for sure. I agree with that, 100%.
But calling the games and getting to be up in the little box, shielded from the wind, that's where you want to be, folks.
Yes.
That's the right place to be.
That's it, yeah. Before we wrap up, a couple other things I want to mention. We mentioned softball earlier, but they got the first win of the season last night, beat Midwest Central 16-0.
Handily,
so
yes.
I would say like you said, handily is a great word, and so I think that's a good thing for them.
Certainly.
And then I also wanted to mention our boys tennis program is just this part of the season. They're just kind of getting going as far as matches. They've been out there practicing. I was actually looking out the window, seeing them starting to practice just a second ago as we're recording this. But talking about dealing with the wind and the weather, tennis is one of those sports that I feel like always is kind of victimized a little bit early in the year by the weather. But they're getting going, and they'll get their matches going here as we get deeper into the month of April, and obviously we'll update as that goes. But before we wrap, I want to say a big thank you to you for stepping in
thanks for asking. Yeah, appreciate it.
For Brian this week, and for all our viewers. We appreciate all of you joining us. We will be back next week with a few more Morton sports updates. So for Bob Hornsby, I'm Ryan Lindley, and we will leave you with a few more girls basketball highlights as we once again say big congratulations to Coach Becker on his fine career.
Congrats, Coach.
Bye, everybody.
Little body contact there. They let it play.
There's Tenley Dowell, left-hand runner in the lane, and in. Between the rings. Open out to Lindsay Dullard on the wing. Looking inside to Katie Krupa. Out there, Tenley Dowell, 3 on the way. Swing!
And she's taking the majority of their shots.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Courtney Jones up top for Raquel Frakes now. Spins, drives, floater in the lane. Good!
What a move! So impressive.
Morton playing 4 on 5 right now. Carr trailing the play. Lindsay Dullard off to Katie Krupa. Up and scores! Rebound, Lindsay Dullard. Passes off to Remmert. Remmert will go up with the left hand and she scores. Late nearing. Dullard, corner 3 is up. No good. Rebound, Katie Krupa. Left hand layup in. Fans get the first basket. And you can hear the fans behind us react. Lady Potters 2-0 lead, 6:33 to go in the first.